What's going on, people? As soon as you get up in here, let me know that you're here. Give a thumbs up so I can definitely give you guys a nice shout out. Yeah, man. Yeah, so we can talk these Knicks, man. So so just to hop on, let me know you're in here. Give you a shout out, so we can kind of get this talking, man. It's a quick little preview. I'm gonna do another live later on this week, so we can get more into detail about what this thing looks like, man, as far as the future goes, and just getting ready for this playoff run, man. So as soon as you get up in here, give a thumbs up. Let me know that you're here, so we can get this going here. Happy Monday to you guys and everybody. Let's get this rocking and rolling, man. Timothy, how you doing, sir? How you doing? Glad you were able to come by, man, so we could talk these Knicks. I should have a call in probably within another week or so. So please be patient with me. But I truly, truly appreciate you coming by, Timothy. Anybody else that comes in, let me know. We can kind of get straight into it, man. We can really start talking about exactly how everybody's feeling, as far as exactly what they think that what they think is going to pretty much unfold with the playoffs. Who's going to be, of course, the most dynamic in the playoffs? Who's the pressure going to be on? It's a lot of topics, a lot of things we're going to be able to definitely touch on. Like I said, this won't be my only live. I'll try to go on live possibly either Thursday or Friday, maybe that day right before the game. So we could definitely get into the weeds here, man, and really kind of chop it up and talk about exactly, what we feel is pretty much going to be the deciding factor. If you guys can put in the chat what you think the Knicks are going to be able to do, are we going to be able to win it in 6 or 7? I think we can win it in 6. I do feel that there's a great potential that we can win it in 5. I know a lot of people want to say that's crazy, but we're going to touch on that. We definitely are, because I think, when it comes down to playoffs, I think it's all about the matchups, period. And one thing you can't do is you can't add on new players to the roster during your playoff run. It's the same guys that they played against. So it's no different than when you're out there playing. It's no different. It's just a matter of emotions and stuff like that. More mental game than anything, right? Or as Jeff Van Gundy put it, poise, right? Who has the poise to get through it? So I think that's really what it's come down to, right? So it's exciting, man. It's exciting. Okay, Timothy. Okay, it's really up to Randall. He has to do well. I expect Brunson to play well. What do you think? I think Brunson's going to be Brunson. I don't think he's phased by this, because the playoffs, he showed it last year. Playing in an NCAA championship game is very similar. Not the same, but very similar, right? The expectation is there. And the pressure is a little different there, too, because you got to win or go home, right? So I think Brunson has been tested with that, right? So he's been there on numerous occasions, right? Especially, last year and going back to when he was at Villanova. Randall, this is a different story here, because last time he was here, he didn't play well. And if, to be honest with you, Tim, this carried over from that year, how bad he played in that Hawks series, that carried over into last season, because he wasn't playing well, and it all carried over from that, and it was just a domino effect for him. I think the pressure's on him immensely. I don't think there's anybody in these playoffs that have more pressure than Randall, and not just because what happened last time with Atlanta, but because of where he plays and that jersey he wears. That jersey is heavy, man. Ask Patrick Ewing, right? So I think that when you're an all-star and you're that guy and you play in New York, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I've mentioned that before. So I think that he has to really play within himself, right? Don't overthink this. Don't. It's easier said than done, right? Because it is the playoffs. But that's why, once again, we got to use that word poise, man, because that's what it comes down to. Randall's the key, man. But I think that with Brunson's play, that will help Randall because then he won't feel as much pressure on him because he knows that he can kind of like maybe like go a couple of possessions, 3 or 4 possessions, and have Brunson go off and he could score his, then IQ, then maybe RJ scores and makes a layup or something like that. And then you kind of, in some ways, in the flow of the game, you kind of forget about Randall. And then Randall will come up and hit a 3, get an N1, get an offensive board and a put back, right? So then that can kind of get him going, right? Now I know a lot of people also too, guys. Once again, when you do come in, please let me know that you're here. I think also too, they keep. I think his ankle is fine. He's been out for 2 weeks. This will be 3 weeks now, and he wasn't in his walking boot last game. Now, I played with. I had a really bad ankle sprain in college too, and it took me a while to get back. But it was also the ankle that I broke in high school playing football. So it was different. It was like a reoccurring injury. When I initially sprained it, before I even got, you're back in like a week or two, like, because if you're I'm not now, remember back then, I'm not getting around the clock care, right? I'm with an ice pack at home, icy hot, right? I'm doing those type of treatments, hot, cold, cold, hot, right? I'm not getting the type of treatment he's getting. He's probably waking up in the morning early and have to be down at the athletic center, and they're probably working on him nonstop. He's probably already running on his ankle. I wouldn't be surprised if he's running. I wouldn't be surprised if he's already started practicing, light work practicing. But I'm sure this week he's going to probably pick it up and probably do like 5-on-5s, 4-on-4s, 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s, just kind of get that flow going. But with today's medicine, there's no way he's not going to be ready Saturday. I think he's going to be ready. Okay, Timothy, who do you like in crunch time when we really need a bucket? Oh, Brunson, without no question. Brunson, Tim. And the reason why I like Brunson is because he's just how can I put it? When the pressure is on, some people's blood pressure goes up and their heart rate speeds up. Some people, when the pressure's high, their pressure doesn't go up. It levels out. Their heartbeat remains the same. It doesn't matter. A la Derek Jeter, right? Those guys, it's different, man. They don't get rattled by stuff like that. They swim in it. They love it. They want that type of, because they don't really get shaken by that. They just don't. Or Havlicek, right? Very true, right? Going way back, man. That's before my time, but I've definitely heard John Havlicek was no joke, man. Cold as ice, right? He doesn't. The pressure doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. So, or of course, Rick Barry, Jerry West, those guys, there's a different type of guys. Michael Jordan, those guys are different, man. Different type of guys. So Brunson falls underneath that, right? Sometimes, like when you're playing games, sometimes guys get nervous. They get sweaty palms. Those guys don't get sweaty palms. They don't. They play just like it's a regular pickup game. And some people say, how are you able to do that with so much pressure, man? Those guys don't feel no pressure. They just don't. They just don't, right? They want to be in that position. They worked on those shots their whole life, right? So they relish it, man. They love it. Some guys want the ball. Some guys still pass the ball back. So if you pass it to them to get the ball, they'll pass it right back to you because they don't want it at all. It's like hot potato. And so I think that's where the ball's going to go. And I think also, too, I think it's kind of understood, right, that's what the Knicks do. And Brunson has grabbed the ball by the horns and just does it. I think Randall, you'll find him in situations where he'll go to the basket, he'll get an offensive rebound and get fouled and have to hit some free throws, right? I'll see him doing that, but I won't see him clearing out and saying, okay, let me go one-on-one and score here like a Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't have, he can do it, but he just doesn't have that skill set because he'll fumble the ball, he'll turn it over, right? That's vintage Randall. We've seen that so many times. You don't really see that with Brunson. He doesn't turn the ball over in those clutch moments. He just doesn't. So that's who I think, that's who I trust with it. And I also trust with it too, Tim. I also trust IQ. I mean, he has anybody earned more money than him on this team outside of maybe Josh Hart? Emmanuel quickly, man. I mean, he's earned so much money. I mean, the Knicks have to pay him. They have no choice. Because if they don't pay him, he's walking next summer. And that RJ. What stinks about the situation with RJ? He's still very, 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 very young. And I have to say that in that way because we don't pay attention to that. But he's still developing as a player. He's not fully, some guys it takes a little bit longer. But you have to understand too, he's averaging 20 points a game in the league, right? Now, does he need to shoot better? Yes, but we all know that coming out of college, he was never known as a top-notch shooter, right? So he's more of a mid-range guy. He could take it to the basket, right? So if you notice, that's where his strengths are. When he steps out behind the arc, he struggles out there. And when they did the breakdown of him when he was coming out of Duke, that they said he might struggle with a jump shot in the league because he's not a consistent jump shooter. He's just not. Keith Bird, how you doing, man? I appreciate you coming by. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But thank you, Keith, for coming by. It's truly appreciated. So Tim, that's like how I feel about RJ. I think he'll be fine. I don't think because also too, Tim, remember this also. I'm not worried about RJ too much because if RJ doesn't play well, then he sits down and you bring Josh Hart in. There's 4 guys on this team that are interchangeable. IQ, Grimes, Hart, RJ. Right? Those guys are interchangeable. So it's whoever's got it going that night. And the way Grimes has been playing, I mean, he's going to be taking minutes from a lot of guys. So it depends on who has the hot night. And so to me, that's why I'm not too worried. And Tibbs has already shown that if you're not playing that well, you're not going to finish out the game. I'm going to finish out the game with the guys who are going to bring us to the finish line, right? So that's why I'm not too worried about RJ. But what I do know is that RJ is going to be an impact. I don't think RJ is going to impact the game to the point to where we lose the game because he played bad. I don't think that's going to happen. We have so many other pieces that contribute on a high level. Grimes, IQ, Josh Hart, right? They contribute on a high level. So I don't really worry too much. I just know RJ is going to guarantee to get you anywhere between 12 to 20 points a game, depending on a certain night. And sometimes you might get lucky. He might blow up for like 32 a night, right? That's how good of a scorer he is. He just shot selection is his biggest problem. But that hasn't hurt us to where we've lost games because of RJ. That hasn't happened. Because if he doesn't have it going, Tibbs don't have a problem pulling him and putting Josh Hart in and letting those guys finish out the game. Right? So that's how I feel about that with RJ. Okay, how do you feel about the possibility Knicks trade Obi? Keith, man, I don't want to see it happen. I don't, because I love his upside. I really do. The way he's been playing these last 5 games, you see it. You see the potential in him. But I think it's just in order for us to get another pick, in order for us to get another piece that is high value, you're going to have to give up something to get, right? Whether the Knicks have picks, but the team's going to want picks and players. So you're going to have to give up somebody. Obi is a very nice piece for a lot of teams. So I think there is a high possibility, especially if Toronto is offering an OG Anunoby again, right? Or I got one better, if even Boston is offering maybe a Jaylen Brown because he's not happy that he's forcing his way out. But they want picks and a player, right? And a couple of players. So I think Obi's going to be in the deal, right? It stinks because I really, really love his upside. I think that when he plays confident and he's not looking over at the bench like he's going to get yanked for making a bad decision, he plays out of this world. You see him. You see the numbers he's putting up. What do you have the other night? I think he had 34, right? So he could score, and he's athletic enough to where when he takes the ball to the Baja off the bounce, he's a tough check because he's athletic, and so he can finish at the rim. The better, and the more he plays. The more he plays, the better he's going to get. And that's the thing with Obi, right? And that's where I think we have to pay attention to what we're seeing because he's still very young too. I think he's 23 or 24, so he's still very young. So his upside is through the roof. He just has to continue to work on his game. Rondo, what's up, LV? Listening to you during work. What's going on, Rondo? I appreciate you listening to me, man. Hope work is going well. Hopefully you're off pretty soon, man. It's nice outside. We're getting out the first round with a rusty Randall. Is Brunson enough to get us to the second round? Absolutely. Absolutely he is. Once again, like I said this earlier, and I said this before my other show, my other live. This league is all about matchups. At this point in the season, you've seen each other enough. You know who's who and who's going to play and the sets that they're going to run, right? So now it's really up to guys making shots, knocking down shots, defending, getting rebounds, getting loose balls, right? Finishing through contact. Brunson can do that with the best of them. And then you're going to see who's going to fall and crumble under the pressure, period. Pressure busts pipes. We all know that saying, right? So you're going to see that within these next couple of weeks in the playoffs. You're going to see because these guys, they played them 4 times, right? So you've seen enough tape on them. You know what they play. You know who their stars are. You know who's going to take majority of the shots. So now you just got to go out and play. Now you just got to go out and defend and just make it happen, not think twice, and just play ball. I mean, it doesn't really matter who's going to come off the screen. When you're wide open, knock down the shot, period. You played 82 games this year, knock it down. The playoffs is just an extension of the regular season, so you have to approach it like that. Even though we know the pressure is different, just play ball, man. Knock down the shots, make your moves like you usually do, and that's it. Remember, too, don't be looking for calls. The refs aren't going to give you everything, especially on the road. Don't expect that. Play through contact and play hard, and that's it. And guys, be prepared to come in when your number is called. Because some guys are going to get in foul trouble based on when you're on the road, and the home team may be getting extra calls because they're on the road or whatever. But that may not happen either because we're in the playoffs. So once again, man, you just got to play ball and just play through it, right? I keep on saying this word, but I'm going to keep on. Jeff Van Gundy said it, poise, man. You got to have poise. You got to be able to come up with the big plays when it's needed. If things aren't going right in the game, because the NBA game is long. So let's just say things aren't going right in the second quarter. You come out in halftime, you could change things in the mid of the third quarter and finish out strong and win the game in the fourth. That's how the game is. So I definitely think we definitely have enough. With Brunson being who he is, I like I said, I told Tim earlier, I think the Knicks are going to do it in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if they win it in 5. I just think I don't think the Cavs have enough firepower, right? LeVert is too up and down to rely on him. We know RJ is up and down, but we're not fully relying on RJ because we got Grimes, we got Hart, and we got IQ. Those are mixed, interchangeable pieces in case RJ doesn't have it going. What do they do if LeVert doesn't have it going? What do they do if Isaac Okoro is not 100%? They have no place to turn. So you know who's taking the shots. It's Garland and it's Spider Mitchell. That's it. Mobley is shaky. He cannot check Randall. So I'm just saying, I just think that's pretty to me what it comes down to, right? I don't think it's hard. Now you just gotta go out and play, man. That's it. Don't overthink it. Just play it. Just play ball. You like Obi hanging out on the 3-point line? I think before, Tim, he was hanging out a lot at 3-point line, but if you've noticed as of late, last couple of weeks, he's been taking it to the basket, which now shows the different layers of his game, right? But that comes with confidence. So he's showing that he can score on all different levels now. He's got the skill set to do that. He's just got to develop it more and be more confident. He can shoot the 3 from anywhere in the court. Now he can put the ball on the deck and go to the rack. We know he can finish well at the rim with the dunks and stuff like that. So now, to me, what Obi really needs to work on, to me, it's his confidence in going to the basket. But honestly, Tim, Obi really needs to work on rebounding and blocking shots. He's too big to not be averaging anywhere between 7 and 10 boards a game. He's too athletic. And he's not hitting the glass. And believe it or not, that's why, he's not getting much playing time. If he was hitting the glass and blocking shots and defending, he's too long and athletic to not be averaging at least one block a game. Right? When whoever he's checking, he's too athletic for that. So that's a lot of that is effort, man. A lot of that is not even sometimes skill. A lot of it is effort. So you have to kind of want it. It ain't just about scoring. You know what I'm saying? So, but I love Obi's upside, man. I would hate to see him go. It's just that Randall is here and he's kind of blocking this kid, right? But Randall's in his prime, man, and he's uber talented. You know what I'm saying? But that's because, guys, remember this: Randall's been traded 2 times, right? He's from the Lakers and the Pelicans, so he's had time to really develop and come into his NBA body and come into his NBA skill set. He's going to be 29 this year, so he's a full pro. That's who Randall is. He's a full pro, so he's grown into that. Give Obi that time to do that too, right? Because that's what Randall is. So Randall's right now in the prime of his career. So that's why these last couple of years he's been an all-star, because he's mature. His game is matured. I think Obi needs for his game to mature, but I see the upside. I think he needs to gain a little bit more weight, maybe 10 more pounds of muscle, like IQ put on some muscle this year. Now you're seeing IQ's game mature, right? So I think Obi's got to do that. But with playing time, I think you will see Obi do that. Tim, it's great to have this bench, though. Oh, the bench is the key. The bench changes everything. They have no bench. Okay, not that they don't have a bench because you have LeVert coming off the bench, but it's not what ours is. Period. We got IQ, Obi, Josh Hart, and iHeart. To me, iHeart is the unsung hero of this team. Period. End of story. We all know about Josh Hart. We all know he's a Tibbs guy. Tibbs has wanted him for the longest. We've known about IQ's upside. We knew what it was. We knew who Jalen Brunson was. But nobody saw iHeart being what he is, especially how he started off the season. What he's developed into, I mean, he's lights out, man. I mean, I'm excited when he comes in the game because I know we're about to go on a run. He defends. He blocks shots. He's unselfish. And he has great lateral quickness, and his reaction is fabulous. There's been a couple of times he's been out of the play, and he'll come out of nowhere and block a shot or get a loose ball, and he rebounds with tenacity. Like he's crashing the boards. He gets in there defensively, puts his face in there. He's the perfect big man right now. For what? Because there's nobody in the league that's willing to do sometimes what he's willing to do. And that's what you love. So the same thing that Josh Hart gives you, iHeart gives you. And a lot of guys don't really want to deal with that, man. Those guys are tenacious. So and they're Tibbs players. And they don't need to score. They don't need to score the basket. They don't. They just playing basketball. And they have very, very high basketball IQs. And so in watching the game, I'm saying, wow, this guy gets it. He understands the game. He's not looking to score. He's looking for backdoor cuts. If dudes is missing, be careful because he's coming down. He's banging it on someone's head off the rebound, right? Sometimes if he sees it open, he even goes to the rack and does a little layup. But he's never playing out of his role like he doesn't. He knows what he's in there to do. So he's not trying to do extra stuff. And you got to love a guy like that, man. To me, he's the young sung hero. And if he plays well, I think the Knicks will get these boys easy. I'll get them up out of here, man. I'm telling you, either 5 or 6. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Okay, Keith. Okay, LV, one more question. Really appreciate Mitch needs to develop an offensive game. How do you feel Hakeem will work with him in the summer? What the dream is going to help him with his footwork. Mitch doesn't really have good footwork, man. He's kind of like stiff in the hips, right? And that's why if you notice, iHeart is closing out games more than Mitch because iHeart reacts well. He's quick on his feet. He has great footwork for a big man. Because what is he, about 6'10", 6'11"? I don't even think he's 7 feet. And he reacts well. He knows how to rotate. So if they set a screen on iHeart, he rolls very, very fast. So if they think they have an opening to a basket, he's getting there blocking shots, or he's getting there rebounding, or getting loose balls and kicking it out, right? And he's a great passer. So that's something that Mitch doesn't have. So, I mean, I love Mitch. I mean, he's a legit 7-footer, right? He's a shot blocker. I think he has gotten better. He's rebounding a lot better. But I think it's iHeart, man. I think iHeart puts so much pressure on those guys because of his play, and he's playing. So coach is showing trust in him for him to close out games. Mitch wants to close out games, right? Then you got to be willing to do what this guy's willing to do. You got to be willing to do that because at the end of the day, all that matters is winning. All that other stuff, stats, and no one cares about that. All we care about is winning. And this kid plays winning basketball. So Mitch has got to work on his footwork. He's got to work on that. Dream could possibly help him. Remember, Dream was only 6'10", man. He was not 7 feet. 7'1". Patrick Ewing, 7 feet, 7'1". Dave Robertson, 7'1". Those guys were bigger than the Dream. The Dream was 6'10", but his footwork was immaculate. You know what I'm saying? So that's why no one could really check him. So that's something he's going to have to work on, right? He can't be so stiff. He's stepping ahead. His reaction time is a little slow because he's a big man, right? So that's something he's going to have to work on, right? Put in a lot of work in the summer. I really also, too, want him to work on maybe a little jump shot, 15-footer. Maybe work on that, a little 10-footer. Maybe a little hook shot right there in the middle. He can get that. You can get that. He can work on that. He could be a big force in the middle there. You got to work on different layers of your game, man, in order to be better. You want to score the ball more offensively. It ain't all about Gotham Lodge, right? That's what we like to call it for money-making Mitch. It's not all about that. You got to be able to develop post moves, and you got to be able to work on your footwork. You do that, trust me, they'll give you the pill. Because there's not too many big men that want to deal with that, right? That's why, of course, Embiid is doing what he's doing and Joker's doing what he's doing because there's not too many bigs that want to deal with those guys in that middle, period. Also, too, guys, when you come by, right, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. I appreciate everybody coming by, man. I truly, truly do, man. Got my man Rondo. He's at work, man. I appreciate him. Hopefully, I can help you get through your day, man. It's 8 o'clock on a Monday. Hopefully, you're getting out soon. If not, you're doing a night shift, man. Hopefully, I can help you get through it, man. But if you have anybody come by, please hit that like button. But it's an exciting week, man. This is a very, very exciting week. There's nothing better. I've said this before in my life than playoff basketball in New York City. Nothing better. I mean, of course, it's very equal to the Yankees playing in October, right? There's nothing better than that. Or Mr. November, as they say with Derek Jeter, right? There's nothing better than that, being in the Bronx during that time. But in the summertime or close to the summertime, Earl, what's going on, Earl? How you doing, man? Appreciate you coming by, sir. Thank you for coming by. Let's get this talk, Earl. Let's get to it. I appreciate you coming by, sir. Hope all is well. But yeah, there's nothing better, man. There's nothing better in the city. It's nothing. It's the hottest ticket in town. Right before the summertime, those 90s, man. Listen, that was a time, man. As they say, what a time to be alive, right? During those 90s runs with those Knicks. I just hope that this team can get back to it. You guys got to understand, right? Look at the beauty of last game. Even though we lost, we started all our homegrown guys, right? I appreciate that, Earl. Much love, man. Much love. We started our homegrown guys last game. We started Grimes. We started RJ. We started IQ. We started Obi. And we started Mitch. And all those guys, those 5 guys, are all contributing in a high-level way for this team. And I think with everybody, that's all we ever wanted. Yes, everybody wants a star, but there's nothing better than your homegrown guys that you drafted, and you're watching them play, and you're watching them develop, play well for your franchise. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. at all. And I think that was what made Ewing so great, because we drafted him so high and he turned out to be better than what we wanted. He's, Hall of Famer, perennial all-star, but he was homegrown guy. There's nothing better, man. And I think watching those kids grow and seeing that those are guys that we drafted, and everybody from last year, we just said, Tibbs, play the kids, man. Play the kids. Give these guys a chance. Give them a shot. Right? And that's all anybody ever wanted, right? So to see those guys out there doing what they're doing, right, on a high level. Grimes is in his second year. IQ's in his third year. Obi's in his third year. RJ's in his fourth year, I believe. Big Mitch, I think, is in his fourth year, I believe, also too. Right? It's a fabulous feeling, man. It really truly is. And then you add the pieces of, iHeart and Josh Hart, and, Brunson, and of course Julius. Right? It's perfect, man. It's perfect. You know what I mean? And all them guys are young. RJ's 22. I believe Grimes is 21. I think IQ is 22. Obi, I believe, is 23 or 24. Big Mitch is around the same age, right? I mean, just think about that, guys. Timothy, absolutely. Best team in years. Best team in years. And I actually think this team might be a little bit better. Maybe a little bit better than that Melo team, that 012, 013 team. And the reason why, to me, is because of Brunson. What Brunson does for us on a night in, night out basis, it's on a level like no other. Period. JR is very similar to IQ, just that production coming off the bench. Because remember, J.R. Smith got $6 million a year that year, right? So his production, and Grimes is pretty much like Shump, right? Iman Shumpert, right? Playing defense and stuff like that, right? So we have nobody like Melo. I don't want to hear Randall's like Melo. Not even close. Melo's a Hall of Famer. Randall is not even close. Okay. And I would say Big Mitch is a little, probably the same thing as Chandler. Maybe not as much of a leader as Chandler was, but somewhat similar skill set wise. But Brunson changes everything, man. He changes everything for this team, and that's why I'm so excited, because I'm not worried about the future and how things look. LV, I gotta go. Great show. I'll tune in again. Timothy, thank you so much for coming. I hope all is well, man. But thank you so much for coming by, Tim. I truly, truly appreciate it. Enjoy your night, sir. I'll speak to you soon. Jerry Lavelle, this team has a long-term, substantial winning potential. Absolutely. Yes, peace, Tim. Peace. Yeah, they definitely do, Jerry. Thank you for coming by, Jerry. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button, Jerry. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But Jerry, absolutely. Because remember too, Jerry, they're very young. That's the key, right? You got to be young in this league. It's a young man's league, period, in the story. You can't be old, right? Or even look at someone like iHeart, right? I said this before. iHeart is 24 years old. It's 24, man. So we these are all homegrown guys. We can help these guys grow into really, really, really solid NBA pros, right? Of course, you guys just have to be healthy, right? Keep them healthy. But I mean, the upside is beautiful, man. And then also, too, guys, take a look at it. We're making it to where this is going to be an attractable destination, right? Now, is Tibbs going to be here forever? He's not. He's getting old. But you have a perfect guy in Johnny Bryant to take over. All the players love Johnny Bryant. He's got great relationships with all the players in this league. Remember, he was the main reason why Spider Mitchell wanted to come back home to New York, because of Johnny Bryant. So he's a perfect person to take over for Tibbs if Tibbs decides, within a year or two to kind of ride off into the sunset and call it quits, right? So to me, that's the great thing about what the future holds, right? It's very, very exciting. But I have to say, man, this is the most excited I've been in a long time. You know, with those Melo teams, they were good, but this feels like, to your point, Jerry, sustainable, right? But I said it earlier, but the key is that they're going to have to lock in IQ this summer. They cannot play around with that. They got to lock him in financially. You got to pay him. You have to pay him, right? Grimes is going to be coming up next year again. He's got 2 more years. So you could possibly sign Grimes again next year too. But the question is I have for everybody, right? Would you, if, when it comes up, because the time's going to come up in another year or two, would you re-sign Randall? I want to hear this from everybody. Would you re-sign Randall? Yes, no, what? Would you guys re-sign Randall? Because we're gonna, you know, we can't sign everybody. So the question is, would you re-sign Randall? Would you be willing to give him a big time contract when his time comes again to re-up? Because remember, he was the first domino to fall. He was the first one to fall off the ledge. I would say. Let me say that, right? He was the first one to fall because he was the first one we signed. So would you sign him? Would you re-sign Randall? Or would you let him walk and see who else we can get? Especially with the potential of getting someone like Jaylen Brown, who's not happy in Boston. Not happy at all. Would you guys pick up Jaylen Brown over Julius Randle? Would you do that? Would you make that deal? Or then some people say yes, some people say no, I'm not doing that. I want to hear that. I think it's important for us to kind of consider that. Earl says absolutely. Absolutely, I'm doing that. I agree with you, Earl. If he comes up and he's available, and we possibly have to sign him, and there's him and Randall on the table, it's not just he's a better player than Randall. It's not just that he's younger too. He's younger than Randall. I think he's 2 years younger than Randall. I believe Jaylen Brown's 26. Randall's 28. He's going to be 29 this year. So I think that plays a major part also. We have to think about that because, you know, once again, we're trying to get young, man. We're trying to stay young. I mean, our guys are going to get older, of course, you know, but all our guys are homegrown. They're all young guys. It's a lot of upside. So you got to say to yourself, okay, am I going to continue to grow these guys, or am I going to continue to go, you know, try to get an old star that's on his way out? Like, I'm not trying to get KD. I'm not trying to get Kyrie Irving. That ship has sailed. I'm not trying to get, you know, Jimmy Butler or nothing like that. Like, no, all those guys are old, man. They're in their mid-30s. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't even know if I would even get like Klay Thompson. I wouldn't even touch him. These guys are old, man. They're gonna want a crap load of money, and they're only gonna be with you for maybe a year or two because they're on their way out. Right? So it's very interesting. It really, really is. Very, very interesting in regards to what the potential can be and what could happen. But if his attitude matches productivity, I agree, Earl. I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, I do. I mean, I think, you know, Randall's gotten better with the attitude piece. I mean, of course, his last couple of months or last month or so prior to him getting injured, I mean, he was struggling, just emotionally wise, right? I think he was tired, so hopefully he can get it back. But, he's not getting any younger, man. He's going to be 29 this year. So if we can get another star who's younger than him, and they might want the same price, or the guy might want a little bit higher, you're not going to really re-sign Randall. You're not, because he's going to be, he's turning 30 next year. So he's in his prime, but he's on he's getting up there. So would you rather sign a guy that's 2 years younger with a higher upside in a guy like Jaylen Brown that could defend and that could score at a high clip, just like Randall? Yo, Tim, what's going on, man? Of course, BX Harlem Connection, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming by, man. Hope all is well. Hope you enjoyed your Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday, the city that's the fly day. That's when you bring out the gear. Bring out the new jean suit. You know what I mean? If it's a little chilly, you bring out the leather suit, the leather jacket with the leather pants to go with it. You know what I mean? You gotta look fly, man. Or maybe even bring out the the Pele. Get some fresh products to go with it. You know what I mean? Everybody throwing they Easter outfit, taking pictures. Go up to a New Rock City. You know what I'm talking about, Tim? You know what I'm talking about, right? New Rock. Go up there, take some pictures, go to movies, go out to eat, go to Red Lobster. Go to Co-op City. Go to City Island, go get something to eat. That's how I used to do it back on Easter. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to look nice, man. So Earl, so I just think that, I love what Randall does. I do, but I just think that he's getting up there, man. And we're all about getting better. So if you can get a young star who's younger than him with a higher upside, you're going to do that. The Knicks aren't, so you got to think, especially if Jaylen Brown wants to get available this summer, or he waits another year and says, all right, I'll just sit out and wait. And then he's available next year, because he's a free agent next year. He might went out this summer, but he's free next year. So the Knicks have an opportunity to say, okay, because I think Randall's contract is up next year, I think. He might be up to re-up. The Knicks could say, all right, we're not going to do it because we could get Jaylen Brown. Right? So I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks do that. I just wouldn't be. Also, too, guys, if you come by, please hit that like button, man. Appreciate you coming by. Just hit that like button when you guys come through. So that's the thing, man. So that's what I think is going to possibly happen. But I mean, hey, man. I mean, Leon Rose and those guys are pretty loyal to Randall. They love Randall. They love what he does. But you never know, man. You never know what might present them at the table. When certain things are an option and something might come across their table, they might say, whoa, okay, wait. Before we do something, let's look at this. Let's make some phone calls, because I'm hearing this guy's available now, right? So, you never know. Certain guys might be on the table. They might decide to move off of RJ, to move off of Randall, to get a certain player who's younger or just as young as RJ, right? So you never know, man, especially us being an attractive location. It's feeling good right now in the city. It is with the Knicks. I would definitely trade Randall for Brown. He is the perfect fit for the team. Absolutely. Excuse me, Tim, absolutely. Because he defends. He plays well, and he's about 6'7", 6'7". So he defends. He's on a wing. So there's not really, Randall gets busy because he's a legit power forward. There's not really power forwards that can do what Randall does. That's great. But Jaylen Brown is a legit all-star. He's got a skill set that Randall just doesn't have. Right? Just all the intangibles that Jaylen Brown comes with. He can shoot, he can defend, he can put the ball on the floor. He's just got it all. He's the total package. Right? And he's younger than Randall. So you have to say to yourself, okay, what do I need to do to make the team better, flat out, right? And if something comes across the table, you got to do that. But I do think that the Knicks, how they play this year in the playoffs and how they look with the young players, they're going to become another attractive location for a lot of players. Because as a lot of players know, there's no better place to play than the Garden, period. Everyone says that. Everyone knows it. When they come to the Garden, they get up and get ready to play. So guys want to be around that. And especially if it's a winning culture and they know that they're always playing on Christmas. They're always playing in a primetime game because the Knicks are one of the best teams in the league. Guys want that, period. They do. Brunson got a lot of stars, seriously, thinking about coming to New York. Absolutely, because they want to play with winners, man. He's a winner, man. He wins games, man. He did it in college. He does it now. Him and Josh Hart, and I even threw an I Hart earlier to him before you came. Those guys play winning basketball, man. They have a very high basketball IQ. Those three guys, even IQ could throw in there too. And Grimes, like they play the game smart. You don't really see them out of position making bad choices. You never really see I Hart doing that. You don't see Josh Hart doing that. You don't see Brunson definitely not do that. They don't turn the ball over with craziness. I mean, they might throw a pass because they're trying to hit a guy on the outlet and it might go over someone's head or something like that. But they make smart basketball plays. Like I never see them do. So you say, yo, what are you doing? Right? I've never said that this season. Randall, I've said that numerous times. RJ, I've said that numerous times. Even sometimes with Sims, I've said that. IQ at times, I've said that. But those three guys, I've never said that. Because they know how to play winning basketball, man. And it's not hard, man. Sometimes, it's just you just gotta, it's a feel, right? You just gotta know the game. And when you're used to winning and you come from a winning program like Villanova, that spills over into the league. I mean, look at Mikal he does, right? So it's the same thing. Those guys are from the same program. So mentality-wise, they understand how to play the game. It's really not hard. And those guys aren't, if you notice Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, they're not flashy players. They're not. But they get the job done, right? And get those W's. So, perfect example, when everybody left Brooklyn, we thought they was going to fall off the map. But Mikal Bridges comes in, he still made sure they got the 6th seed. Now, all we did is the Knicks, we just flip-flop with them. Because the Knicks were the 6th seed before, and Brooklyn was the 5th seed. All we did was flip-flop. So they didn't fall too far down. But I believe they went on a streak. I think if I'm correct, I want to say they won 18 to 20. I want to say that. Something crazy with the Nets. But what I'm saying is that they got the pieces, man. But that's because of Bridges. He brings a certain type of quality of winning. You know what I mean? That these guys are feeding off. And they still made it to the playoffs. Tim said, facts. It's the world famous arena that they should want to come play in the Garden. Of course. Of course. This is Tibbs' last chance to do something in the playoffs. If we lose to the Cavs, he's out of here. You know what? I don't think he's out of here, man. He's not. And the reason why he's not is because of relationship with Leon Rose. They'll give Tibbs another chance. You know what I mean? But I honestly think, I don't even think that they'll kick Tibbs out. I think Tibbs will leave by himself. I think he'll just say, nah, he'll give the team over to Johnny Bryant. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Tibbs say, nah, it's just time for me to go. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But you never know. You never know. I'm just saying. It's a long season, man. Long season, a lot of things you got to deal with. So, it's a lot, man. The season's no joke. So Tibbs is getting older too, man. You see him on the sideline. Tibbs is an old cat too, man. I think he be with Woodson, man, hanging out with Woodson. Because you see, Tibbs got the super black. What's that? He getting his beard colored. You know what I mean? That's what Mike Woodson was doing. Guys, you know what I'm saying? Them dudes is old, man. But they be looking like, you know what I'm saying? They trying to keep it young, but they struggling. Tibbs got the hair going. He trying to keep it together. I'm like, Tibbs, if you finish, Tibbs, you got to shave all that off, B. It's over. Nah. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me talk basketball. I'm just saying, I just think that they try to hold on, right? And it's time. But so I think Johnny Bryant, because Johnny Bryant, he's right next to Tibbs. He's next in line. He's associate head coach. So they already know. They're already plotting. He's gonna be next in line. So I'm not too worried. Yeah, Johnny Bryant is the next, man. He's next in line. He's next in line. You gotta have. Listen, here's the thing, man. This is a new era of player, new era of kids. You gotta have a guy who talks their language, right? And I'm not saying he's got to be black. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that. I don't want that to get. But you got to have a guy culturally and youth wise that gets these kids coming out of high school, these young players. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter ethnicity. It just matters like he understands. He understands their language and what they're talking. And so they feel comfortable talking to him. Because a lot of times these guys going through other stuff, man, outside of basketball. It ain't just hoops. So they might have things going on that coach can relate to and can really kind of chime into it. An old cat like Tibbs, he ain't got no patience for that, man. He doesn't. So, my opinion, I think that's why Johnny Bryant is there. And then on top of that, Tibbs is teaching him and having him sharpen his knife, right? Is getting his skills right as far as how the choices you make in certain decisions. They probably watch a lot of film. Tibbs is giving him the blueprint, right? So, I think that's kind of like what's helping him, right? Just my opinion. And I think that's why where we're at as far as the team goes. I think Johnny Bryant keeps a lot of things together. If you notice, when certain things, Randall's acting crazy or doing whatever, or whomever's kind of out of pocket, when Obi and RJ kind of got in that, Johnny Bryant was the first one in the middle of that, right? So Tibbs is not. He the head man, but Johnny Bryant is in the middle. He in the fire, right? Getting in the middle of those guys. That tells you how much of a big role he plays with this team. And I wouldn't be surprised if, with the CAA guys, if there's an understanding that he's the next in line. Well, I mean, he's associate head coach, but he is really, truly the next in line. Tibbs might have another year or something. They might be like, all right, man, we're gonna give it over to this kid. We're gonna let him really rock. You feel like you've trained him enough? Okay, cool. All right, so all right, let's take the training wheels off, man. Let's let him go with it, right? Facts. I agree. Tibbs might just move to the front office, maybe general manager, get rid of Scottie Pippen. Right. That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into play. Might help with scouting or something like that. Because Tibbs is a basketball guy. He loves being around hoops. He's even said that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of like what Tibbs does, right? He kind of does something that's less strenuous. He's not constantly on planes every day. You know what I mean? He just starts slowly taking a step back. And but I think I think he's the coach, and I think he's the coach in waiting, man. That's what I think the situation is. But it's exciting, man. This is an exciting time in the city, man. I mean, I can't wait to Saturday. I really can't. I was on my way, man. I had something going on, just personally wise, scheduling. I couldn't get out of it because I was going to be at the game next week in the Garden. I was locked in. I was ready to press go and get my tickets. Then I had to do stuff and other things on the schedule. I'm like, pulling my hair out, man. I'm like, what I'm saying? I'm trying to be in the Garden. So I couldn't do it, man. Just scheduling wise, I got other things going on. But there's no better ticket, man. There's no hotter ticket. No better place to be, right? So especially on a Tuesday night or something like that in the Garden, the city's going to be on fire. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm really looking forward to. And I think we deserve it, man. We deserve it, especially with these guys we drafted. And I think these kids are ready. I think IQ is primed and ready to show out. I think IQ is ready. Brunson going to be Brunson because he's been there before. I think Randall's going to be fine. I think RJ is going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. I think Josh Hart's going to be fine. I think IQ is going to go off. I think he's going to get busy. I think he's really going to get busy. And I think he's going to open a lot of people's eyes. The same thing that happened in Boston, I think you might see a game or two of him doing something like that. Because they have nobody for him. Who they got? They ain't got nobody for him. Absolutely, Tim. It's a great time to be a Knicks fan. Absolutely. But who do they have for IQ? They don't have nobody. Nobody. They have nobody to check IQ, man. They really, really don't. So I just wonder, like, okay, what are they going to do? Because they have our bench is so much more superior than theirs. I mean, it's not even close. Spider's got to get a rest. Garland's got to get a rest. So what do they do? And I also think too, because I've been hearing talks and people talking. I've been watching. I follow a couple people, and I've been just hearing the conversations going around, circulating about the possibility of the rotation being changed. I don't think that happens. You don't change something. You don't change what's been working in the ninth inning. You don't do that. That's why would you playing scared? You beat them 3 out of 4. So why would you change what's worked? That's insane. Like that doesn't make what you do is you keep doing what you're doing. You see if they can fix and they can adjust. If they can adjust to what you're doing, why stop? If Brunson's coming off the screen, they ain't checking it, and he's knocking down a jumper, I'm going to the same play. If they can't stop it, I'm not going to stop running that play. Right? So what the Knicks were doing as far as their lineup goes, force them to adjust, force them to get out of whatever it is that they're doing. To change things up, man. Force them to change things up. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I wouldn't put it in a situation to where like we have to change us. I wouldn't do that. No, not at all. IQ and Obi notice how they play their best basketball towards the end of the season. If it stay consistent, the team can do something special this year. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just keep it going, man. Keep it going. Don't stop. Don't change it up in the ninth inning. Don't do that. Listen, keep it to that 9-man rotation like you've had it. And then when it gets to the point in a certain part of the game, you say to yourself, okay, it's time for Obi to come in. It's time for Obi to come in. It's time for Josh Hart to come in. It's time for Josh Hart. The same thing they've been doing. Don't change. Because it's very, very important to kind of say, okay, I don't want to mess up the rhythm of my players. If Obi's used to playing, then play him. Don't sit him on the bench. Like I would only play Deuce if guys are in really, really bad foul trouble or if somebody fouled out. I would not play him now. Like for what? He hasn't been playing. He only plays if dudes are injured. I wouldn't play him over Grimes. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't bring Sims in. I would only bring him in extenuating circumstances. I think I said it right. But really bad circumstances, right? I would bring those guys in. I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So keep it because your approach with these guys has to be, it's just like any other game. Now, it's not, but you have to get it in their mind that you play it like it's game 1 of the season. You don't try to say, okay, let me try to make sure I make every shot at the playoffs. Nah. Play cool, calm, and collected. Play cool, calm, and collected. Don't try to overdo it. Don't try to overthink it. Just play ball, right? So in doing that, then you'll make the players play relaxed. They won't play so tense, and they won't be trying to do things that they didn't do in the regular season to get them there. Do everything that you did to get you here. That's it. That's it. If you're wide open, the same shots you was taking during the regular season, you take, right? I don't want Josh Hart chucking 8 threes. I don't want Al Hart chucking 5 threes. Don't do that. Play what you've been doing. Play that. Don't try to go crazy. Right? Even though I know Grimes could dunk, I don't want him trying to go to the rack and try to bang it on everybody. Don't that you ain't been doing that all year, man. Take it easy. LV, I'm going to need you to get a StreamYard up and running so I can be able to join your panel on your show. Yo, listen, absolutely, man. I'm going to have it definitely probably next week. Yeah, just give me, yeah, definitely next week, man. It's been crazy. Like I had to get a new mic because my sound was crazy. You know, you got to kind of get all that stuff together, man. So I'm kind of like getting a couple pieces together. So I'm gonna get the StreamYard. I'm at the StreamYard rocking next week. That's definitely the latest, the week after. But definitely I'm gonna have it rocking so I can have you guys calling because I definitely want to hear what you guys say. Definitely talk, but yeah, definitely gonna have this rocking and rolling then. But there's a couple of things I want to see, right? I think, my opinion, and I said this earlier, I think everybody is riding RJ too much. You got to understand he's not the greatest shooter ever. Like, we all know that. But you have to understand who he is. He's a downhill, attack the basket type of player. And you got to think through this whole season, RJ has not been the reason that we've lost games. He hasn't. So his play doesn't really impact what it is that we do. It doesn't at all. It really helps when he's playing aggressive and when he's going downhill. But if he's having an off night shooting, if you notice, it doesn't affect the game. Like, Tibbs will pull him out and be like, all right, man, Hart, go in and go get him. And then they'll keep things going as if RJ's not 0 for 9. It'll be business as usual. But if Randall is struggling, that impacts the team. It does. Because sometimes, too, if he starts struggling and things aren't going right, you know how he gets. He want to fight. You know what I mean? He want to fight the refs. He want to fight his team, right? So I'm just saying. So it's different levels. So you got to understand who RJ is. Like, his play is important, but it doesn't impact us that much. But if RJ is scoring 25 or better, or 24 and better, or something like that, oh man, that changes everything for us. It does. And if he's attacking downhill, getting and ones, changes everything for us. He just it's a lot of things he's got to work on this summer, right? I think he's got to know his shot and identify his shot. But if you notice, right, the way he shoots, like, you know, you shoot your jumper, you got to have a good form, right? If you notice, Jalen Brunson shoots his joint is different. RJ shoots his joint with a hitch. Like, he's like going like that. Like it's not in a good form. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, in the city, like when I was growing up, Kenny Anderson was smooth with it, right? With the lefty. It was a slick lefty. But his jumper never was like a hitch. He would just shoot like he was right-handed, but it was just left-handed. So he would come down, shoot, boom. And a lot of times it wasn't even squared. It was like to the side. And he would like aim it. You see what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson does the same type of thing. But RJ is like he's pushing his shot. It's like a push shot, a push jumper. Like, so that's something he got to work on. That's in the summertime. Tim, facts. He definitely does. It definitely is not the reason we lost games. RJ actually had a good season to me, right? Come on, man. I mean, he's averaging 19 and a half. RJ is going to be a factor in that Cavs series. Mark my words, right? But I think also too he's going to be a factor too because there's no pressure on RJ, man. It's not. He just come in and play his game. That's it. We're not looking for him to score 30 a game. We ain't looking for that. We just not. We understand who he is. And then we got two other alpha dogs that could do it. But like Brunson, we know is going to do it. Randall has proven that he can. He just got to keep his head. But that's who we're expecting. If RJ adds in his 19 and a half, 17, 21, beautiful. And IQ is coming off the bench, getting 17, Josh Hart getting 8, Obi getting 6, Al Hart getting like maybe 6, but 8 boards, right? So now think of it. Grimes is getting 15. Now we rocking. Now we rolling. Now them cats is getting like, IQ's getting 20 and Grimes getting 17. Oh, forget about it. It's gonna be easy work, man. So I think that's what we have to understand. You know what I mean? And also, dudes just slamming RJ, man. My thing is like, listen, man, we're in the playoffs, man. We're in the playoffs, dogs. We're in the playoffs, and we have a very high potential. A very high possibility of beating this team and getting them up out of here. And I ain't saying like a drag out fight. If we play the way I know we can play, we get them out of here in like 6 or 5 games. Period. So I'm not worried about RJ. RJ just needs to come and do what he does. Attack and go to the rack. That's it. Get to that left hand, attack, do what you need to do. There's nobody really could check RJ because he's strong. He's stronger than Levert. He was bullying him last time. Like, just chill, man. Chill. Tim said we just might finally get to see our big three doing something big in the playoffs. Agreed, man. Agreed. And to me, that's all, that's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. Let's get W's. That's it. If RJ has a great night, cool. If he's off, so what? We let him sit down, let him cool off. Boom. We got IQ. If Randall's starting off slow, he get foul trouble. We got Obi coming in, right? So we got mixing. So I'm not worried, man. Guys just gotta play ball. Like, don't overthink it. Don't try to make it like, oh, this is the play like you in the NBA Finals. Let me tell you something. They asked Derek Jeter one time. They said, "Yo, man," they said, how is it you're able to play big in the World Series?" He said, "Because I don't approach it like it's the World Series. I approach it like it's game 1 of the regular season. I don't look at it like, oh, if I don't win this game, that's I don't. He said, I don't approach it like that. I approach it like it's game 1 of the regular season. That's it. I just go out and play baseball. If they throw the first pitch and it's over the middle, I'm knocking it outside the park. Period. So I think that's how you have to approach it. That mindset and approaching it that way, to me, is the best way to be. I think it's the best way to be. I don't think you have to kind of like just overlook it. Now, yeah, we get it. It's big. A lot of them are young. They never been here before. IQ was there last time, but remember, he was a rookie, so it was different, right? So, like, I understand that. But I mean, listen, man, you just gotta play ball, man. Because here's the thing. Listen, Spider's coming. Spider ain't gonna be thinking twice. So if you ain't ready to play, he gonna make you ready. Spider ain't taking no prisoners, man. None. So I think we have to kind of have that in the back of our mind when we are, making these decisions as far as, what the Knicks look like, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna play. Like, they're not gonna have no time for that because the other team over there is gonna be ready to go. So that's gonna force you to kind of say, all right, let's lock in, because they're not giving us like a grace period. If they're not locked in, Spider might go for. Remember last game they played Spider. How much he had in the first quarter? We had 20, but then Brunson was matching him. I think how much Brunson had in the first quarter? What do you have? Like, what do you have? 21? Because last game, I think Brunson had 50, right? Then Brunson had 50 last game, where he had 48. Come on, man. He almost had a 50 ball on them dudes. What I love about this team is as we get We got role players. They stay ready to come in the game and contribute. Absolutely. They don't think twice. Josh Hart don't look at himself as a role player. He don't look at himself as like a guy who's coming off the bench. And he look at himself as a starter. That's just like because other teams he started on. He understands he's not starting over RJ. That's not happening. He's not starting over Grimes. Those guys are homegrown guys. That's not happening. RJ just got the bag. He got over $100 million. He's not coming off the bench. Grimes is the future two guard. They drafted Grimes. They value him. So you just got to understand that this is just what it is, man. Then they're not. You understand what I'm saying? So once you understand that, everything else is easy. Everything else is easy. Spider's definitely coming to bring it to us. We definitely got to stay in locked in defensively. Absolutely, we have to because Spider's not going to waste no time, man. He's not. He's not going to be playing nice. He's not going to say, "Yo, all right, I'm gonna chill." He's not going to do that. He's not. And if you don't come ready, you know what I mean. It's going to be you know what. You can't say that on live, but you know what I'm saying. You got to come ready. You got to come ready to go, man. So I just think that's what has to happen. It's my opinion. Now, of course, other people are going to think differently and say, "Oh, nah, we gotta, nah, man, nah, man, nah. Come ready to go, lock in, and it's away." So you got to come. You know what I mean? So you just got to come ready to go, man. You have to, because if not, you'll find yourself in a hole quick. You understand what I'm saying? Like you'll find yourself kind of like down by 15 or 20 because you sleepwalking because you looking around like, wow, we in the playoffs. Like, nah, man, just give me locked in. I think Milwaukee's coming out, man. Tim, I think it's gonna be Milwaukee, and I think it's gonna be Phoenix. I think it's gonna be Milwaukee and Phoenix. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix wins. Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant, man. He's a tough check, man. He's a tough check. He's just tough to defend, man. He really, really is, man. And watching him play, man, it's just he's unguardable, man. Then they got Devin Booker and stuff. I mean, what's their record, man, since he's been over there? What are they, like 9-1 since he's been there? Since he's played, I think they're 9-1. You know what I'm saying? And then I just feel that also too, man. I feel like the Bucks, they have too much offensive firepower. No, excuse me, they're too much length. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they're just like a well-oiled machine, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're perfectly constructed for the playoffs. Like they have length, they have shooting, they defend, right? You know what I mean? So those things are tough to beat because you remember you got to beat them 4 times. That's hard to do, man. That's so hard to do. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's why they're tough out. But see what their Achilles heel is like guys that are offensive. That's their Achilles heel too. Because remember, a couple years ago, they would have got knocked out by Brooklyn if Kyrie would have played. If Kyrie didn't get hurt, they would have got knocked out. Because KD was scorching them by himself. By himself. He didn't have no help. Kyrie went out, he got hurt, and KD could have won it by himself with them. Right? So that's why I think offensive guys give them problems. And a guy like Devin Booker gives them problems, and then you add on a guy like KD. Oh man, they're a tough out. Now they gotta get out the West, right? There's a lot of good teams in the West. I think Memphis is too immature and young. Like the John Morant thing is just out of this world, man. This guy is just So I'm not worried about them too much. That'll be one hell of a finals. I think the Bucks going to win it. They got a better bench here. The Bucks are tough, man. The Bucks are tough. If the Knicks didn't have to play the Bucks in the next round, I would say we can go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we got the Bucks next. If we win these against these guys, we got the Bucks. And that's tough. That's tough to do. That's those guys are legit, man. Those guys are legit. And plus they know how to win. You know what I mean? So that's tough for a young team like us who's trying to figure it out and just trying to establish a new culture here. Right? They already have that culture. They got a lot of good vets over there. The Greek Freak is homegrown, Middleton, and I mentioned it before on my show. Just top to bottom, man. They're well oiled. They're built well. What they say about them Ford trucks? Ford tough, right? Them F-150s, Ford tough. That's what the Bucks are, man. They're a throwback. You know what I'm saying? They're a throwback team. So they're just tough. They're really, really tough. But KD is something different, man. He's something different. You got to understand if he didn't get hurt, they probably would have won 3 in a row. Because remember, Kawhi went off because KD got hurt. He tore his Achilles. But they would have beat them without the Warriors would have beat them without him. They were unbeatable when he was there. Unbeatable. They was. Whew. I'm glad he left, man, because I was like, man, this is unfair. Ain't nobody gonna beat them, man. Right, it won't be an easy series, right? But it's the Bucks are deep, man. They're tough, but I think that's been their Achilles heel is offensive guys that are just very, very skilled offensively. They have trouble with, and they have nobody that can really guard KD. Greek Freak can't check him, man. He tried, and you saw what KD did. He was cooking him in that series. When they played Brooklyn, he was cooking him. He was cooking the whole team. And Kyrie was doing the same until he got hurt. So now they got those similar guys. But it's going to be interesting, man, because the West is tough too. Because remember, you still got the Warriors, right? They just got Andrew Wiggins back. So you still got them. They are defending champs. So if Wiggins can get it together, they're going to be a tough out too, man. So it's exciting, man. It's exciting because the Warriors play the Kings. And that's going to be a great series, right? So you got us playing. It's going to be I think they're the 4-5 too. I think they're the 4-5. No, that's the 4-5. I'm bugging out because the Kings is a high seed. I think that's the 6-2. I think that's the 6-3. Either the 6-2 or 6. I'm bugging out. I'm doing my math wrong. I'm sorry. That's 6-3. Because the Warriors are the 6th seed, and I think they play the Kings. That's going to be a good one. So I think it's out of us and the Cavs and the Kings and the Warriors is going to be a great series. Great series, man. The basketball's on fire right now, man. I can't wait. Really, really, really can't wait. So we got to see what happens. Definitely got to see what happens. I'm excited. But I think everyone keeps on talking about Randall's ankle. I think Randall's fine. I think he's fine. He was out of the walking boot, man. He wasn't limping, nothing. I didn't see no issues with Randall. So I think he'll be fine. I think he's actually running now. He might be doing light jogs. I think he might have already started practicing with the team, doing light stuff. But, they're going to ramp him up, and he's going to be ready to go Saturday. I'm not worried about that. But listen, let me get out of here. All right. It's almost 9 o'clock. Eat some dinner and stuff like that. You guys should do the same. Everybody relax, man. Have a good night. I'm definitely going to come back on Friday and do another live, the day before the game. All right. But I appreciate you guys coming through, everybody. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. All right. But listen, I'm LV Live. I appreciate you guys coming through. All right. I'm LV Live, and I'm out, people. Peace.